A company reached out to me and they said, hey, we've got this product. We'd love to send it to you. I'm always a bit skeptical when I hear that, because when a company reaches out, they're usually always wanting something in return. I can name 2 occasions where that's not happened. Tom Love is one of them with the microscope that I got. They didn't expect anything in return. No live stream, no video, nothing. And the other one is a company called Solder. And they sent me this lovely piece of equipment. And as you can see on the bag itself, it says Solder. What is Solder? Solder is an all-in-one beginner. I don't even know if it's right to say beginner, because I don't know if it's beginner or like if it's like a basic to intermediate. I'm going to call it an all-in-one soldering solution for people who are, I'd say, ideally on the go or a hobbyist when it comes to soldering. I don't know if this is going to be suitable for anybody who's into like console repairs and working on big motherboards. From what I've seen on the Kickstarter, that by the way raised around about 850,000 euros, which is now closed. I think they're shipping these things out for pre-order. And one thing I will say is that this is a very early production kit. They're still making adjustments, they're still making changes. I'm pretty sure they're still open to feedback, but lots of people have already pre-ordered this kit, and we're going to take a look at that today, right now. I will say now, I've not been paid to promote this product at all in any way, shape or form. They did, however, offer me a chance for affiliation. So any of these that I managed to sell, I'd get some sort of a kickback. I declined on this occasion because I wanted this whole review / unboxing situation to be as authentic as possible, and I didn't want people taking it the wrong way by me saying, oh, if you want to buy one of these. And not that I think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, and I think actually from a business perspective for Joey, it's very dumb to say no. However, because I don't know if I do any videos on this later on down the line, they're not going to be as effective as what the first one is going to be on my channel. I don't think so anyway. I opened it slightly on a live stream before, probably like, I think it was like this. I opened it on a live stream and I shut it and I said, no, I'm going to save it for a video. Turns out, obviously, I'm doing a live stream right now. And what I'm going to do is open it fresh. I have not had a look inside of this. It's a nice little bag, right? I think we can all agree. I don't know if it's like, you know, really, really good quality. But the fact that it's got a nice little handle, this is very portable. And it's not heavy. This is not heavy to carry around. I like the fact it's got these little pouches at the front. I don't know if they're not elastic, so they're not going to be able to like hold anything. Again, like trying to get this is quite tough, but I don't know what the purpose of those are. Like, is this for pens that go in here? But again, when you see stuff like this, it's like usually like elastic, so it kind of holds onto something snug. Obviously the branding down the bottom where it says Solder. Let's get right into this then. I actually need to confirm what model it is and how much this would actually cost somebody retail. I get asked all the time, Joey, what's the best thing to get as a beginner? And if I can recommend something like this, then that would be cool. You can't put screwdrivers in here unless they've got a handle, because they'll just fall through. Solder is spelled S-O-L-D-R, by the way. If I go on pre-order, I think I've got the deluxe, which is a complete solder kit with every module, add-on, and the premium bag, everything included, assembly. I think this retails currently at $255, which equates to 223 euros. Let me share my screen quick. I think it's this one, the deluxe edition. Estimated delivery, so you can see here, October 2025. The actual website itself is really cool. This is what it looks like. Hello Solder, goodbye clutter. So yeah, if you guys want to check it out, this is the actual site itself, and it goes through everything on the site. So it's an all-in-one scenario for soldering essentially. Modular and versatile. I can't wait to look at the soldering iron, portable and compact. That's why I'm saying I don't necessarily know if it's going to be for me, because I have my desk, I'm situated at my desk ready to go, rather than like lugging everything around. It does say over 3,500 pre-orders, by the way. So let's go ahead and open her up. So we've got some flux. Look at this. Some RMA 223, made in China, no clean. It does say ROHS as well, so it complies with the ROHS directive. I don't know if this is their own flux. Oh, that just pulls off, so it's not even a screwy. It kind of looks slightly runny, so we'll have to investigate that, what kind of flux that we get in here. We've got a 10,000 milliamp hour power bank by the looks of it, a USB-A and a USB-C at the other end. And inside of this, again, you've just got, these are the little rubber bands that I'm talking about. You see these little like holders? That's what I thought they might have on this. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Those are a little bit better. And you've obviously got the pouches as well. You've got a zip here as well, just again for carrying stuff around, little bits. Again, I'm looking at this from a perspective of portability. So let me turn this around now. Oh, actually, wait, I think I open it from this side. So we've got one zip and we've got level 2 zip. Okay, so I'm going to open level 2 zip now, which is the deeper pocket. And here we have, I believe, solder and everything about it. Don't know what that is. Is that a clip of some sort? I don't know. This was just in the bag. I have no idea what this is about right there. Again, this is as raw as it gets, by the way, this first impression, because I've not opened this at all. It looks like some sort of 3D printed something. Cleaning brush. No, it's not. Those aren't bristles. It's plastic. It looks cool though. I mean, this looks clean, and this is the bulk of everything. The heavy stuff. Does it like, is that screw just undone a little bit? No. Is it missing a bit of plastic there, perhaps? I don't know. Can you see how it comes out a little bit? But the other ones all have like a plastic ridge, so I think maybe just a bit of a quality thing there. Let's slide this down then. So, again, I have no idea how this goes. I don't know how it works. Do I just... This is all... I'm going to be very newbie with this, guys, okay? I'm not even, like... No guides, nothing like that. Do I turn it over? Is it this way? Whoa! Hold on. So that kind of opens like that. And that's the... Is that the stand? Oh, it opens the other way. Oh, here's our... Okay, so we've got some cutters there. So it opens from this way, right? Wait, does it? Am I being silly? I think I am. Let me open this first. So I'll hold that open like that. Oh, okay, wait. So it does go this way. Hence, you know, that being... Oh, okay, I see. I'm getting there. All right, so it opens like that. And then we fold this down. Wow, okay. Oh, we are cooking. Sweet. This is really cool, man. Like, as far as, like, look at this. We've got our soldering iron. It's got a soldering tip. These are just the first things that I'm kind of seeing with this. Let me put it flat for you for now, just so you guys can see exactly what we've got in here. But that's pretty cool, right? So we've got the cut. I don't know where the cutters were, like where they were stored. I'm going to assume somewhere down here. It doesn't look like they have a place to be stored like everything else does. Unless I'm completely and utterly butterly wrong. I can't see as to where they would fit in here. But everything else, bearing in mind, this has been shipped from, I don't know where, another country. But that is secure. You know, that is like, that's pretty cool. And this bit has a handle as well. So you can carry this around as long as you secure these bits, I'm assuming. Yeah, that makes sense. But wow, that's really cool. Wait, does that go both ways? No, just that way. That's really, really cool. Let me try and open it again. Guys, how did I open it? Okay, it was that way. Like that. Okay, sweet. So let's have a little look at all the things that we get with this. Again, price point £200. Remember that. Price point £200. This is the flux holder. Now I'm pretty sure most of these things are 3D printed. So let me just stick this over here. Yeah, this looks 3D printed. So it's got like a, is that a magnetic? Yeah. So this thing here, which has been 3D printed by the looks of it, is magnetic. And is that like a cap for the flux? So we have a cap for the flux. Oh, it's like a small twist on. And I will caveat again, I'm going to say this a few times probably throughout this. This is a very early revision of the stuff, so they could have already made some changes, you know. There we go, look at that. So that's on. It's a very simple design, but it kind of just makes sense, right? Just twist and pull. Nice. And then you've got, oh, you've got the same, but on the actual needle, the syringe. Look at that. And then where's the, oh, the whole, whoa. Oh, so the whole thing, it's not spring loaded. So, oh, it's just pressure. So wait, do you put the flux directly in here? Did that not get messy? Would that not get a little bit messy? I see why, but... I mean, look, being really portable, it makes sense. But I don't see how that would work long term, and unless I'm being really, really silly. The 3D printing on these products, it does, you can see we've got marks and stuff on it. Somebody in the chat just said, personally not a huge fan of 3D printed parts in final product, cool for DIY though. I do agree, it definitely gives it a cheaper feel, but they're obviously putting together a massive set here for a reasonable price. I wonder what the cost would be for everything. But yeah, something like this is a nice touch. You know, they've already included. Thing is, right, when you've got a very small kit and you have to fit everything in, does that go in there? No, that would be nice though. You have to take these small measurements and these little shortcuts to get everything in. It's that much smaller than it is in terms of, you know, some ways, especially if we take this off, look, 'cause it's all so compact. So if I take that off, like it's, you know, less than half the size of the actual flux. I don't know if the flux is actually included in the final product. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I guess I see why they would do that. And again, with the magnetic stuff, I was just coming in from an angle of like, do you really need this if you've got this? The extra mile, you could maybe just have like tinier flux that comes with it. So half that essentially, and just maybe have what that is, because it's already in a tube and you've already given like a plunger. But I don't know if there's any flux companies out there that obviously do a half tube a half size. So that might be the issue with that. Regardless, it's cool, right? It's cool. How much can you say about a flux syringe? I guess too much. One thing I liked about when I looked at this on the website, there was one thing in here. Where is it? This spool of USB-C to USB-C cable. This isn't what I was talking about, how much I liked, by the way. Wow, it's a USB-C cable. It's just, there's something else in here, so I will get back to that. But yeah, so you can see this. We just unravel it, and then you've got your power supply, essentially. Your USB-C here. I don't know if this is charged. I don't even know how to know if this is on. Oh, there's a flashing light now. And now it's on. Oh, okay, sweet. How do I turn off? Hold it down. How do you just pull on this? Do you just wind it up? Oh, wow, you literally just wind it up like that. Look at that. Do you? Oh, it's got like a screwdriver bit here. Again, another 3D printed product here as well. Just as an FYI, this is 3D. Oh, you just spin it? Oh. Okay, cool. I may come across like the biggest noob here, by the way. I'm also really excited for this, by the way. It's a wire stripper. I'm going to run through this really quick. It's the little things that get to me, right? This thing here is so cool. I've seen, again, a little video of this. Look at that. The way that this works is you push down and then you slide. Really simple. But I think I'm going to test right now and see if it actually works. Hopefully it's going to work for this size wire. I imagine it will. Let's just cut it first. So cut. Does that cut it? It does. Look at that. Clean. And then, so if I do that and then just pull, right? So you push down a little bit and then just pull. Oh my gosh, guys. I know, right. People might be like, Joey, it's a wire stripper. What are you talking about? For me, guys, this is revolutionary, you know? Stuff like this, right, is priceless. And it cuts super easy. That's amazing. Again, a 3D printed design, but it doesn't really matter if it does what it does. I don't know longevity, how long it will last for. But again, so down, get a good feel for it, and then just forward. And I don't need to pull, but that's so cool. I did give them a heads up that I'd be doing this, by the way. So didn't say I'd be doing it on our live stream. I can get into that more so the nitty gritty side of things. Okay, so something just fell out. What's just fell out there? It's a mirror. What's the mirror for? I'll put that to the side for the time being. Is that magnetic as well? Doesn't feel magnetic, no. I'll have a look at that in a sec. Meter does look interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to have a look at this. Should we have a look at the multimeter? So the way that they've packed this is that everything just kind of sits. I think I watched, again, a video whereby what they said with this is that they were going to make it so that it was easier for storage for the wires. But, I mean, that's pretty simple as it is and magnetic. And it goes back very clean, you know? I like it. Look at that. And it's quite strong as well. The magnet. Okay, look at our little multimeter, man. This is wicked. And then does that pull through there? It does, look. You can also, I'm assuming you can just take it out, right? Right there. Let me take this one out first. And then I can take this one out. Here's our little multimeter. Look at that. I love how this closes so easy, by the way. Look at this. This is really cute. I like the display. Wait, did it turn off? Oh, is it turned off because, is it no battery? Maybe it's out of battery. Oh, it's a CR2032, so it should last for a while. Let me turn it on to something else and see if it, that's fine. So what, is it just DC voltage? Oh, it's on. It's just turned off. Let me hold on here for a minute. That seems to be okay. Why on DC voltage it turns off? I won't touch it. Maybe like a power saver thing, if you don't use it within 3.2 seconds. This is ohms mode, so resistance mode. So let's check the resistance in the leads. 0.1, lovely jubbly. And if I press select, there we have diode mode, nice. And then if we press select again, we have continuity mode. Do we get a beep? Did it beep? We do. Can you guys hear that? So that's pretty good. We get milliamps as well, and that's capacitance, I'm pretty sure. I'm not somebody who's very smart when it comes to knowing what a multimeter does, other than like the essential bits. But yeah, you've got the capacitance mode there, I'm pretty sure. Hertz as well. NCV, I don't know what NCV is. EF, got to be some like frequency stuff, right? But the important ones, we have our DC, we got our AC, and then we've got the resistance mode, diode mode, and continuity mode in the middle. But I don't know why this turns off. I like it though. I like it. They feel, the leads feel quite cheap, plasticky, you know. They're not like a heavy, durable material. As for the wire as well, obviously you can see it's quite small gauge and stuff, but it might only be what this multimeter requires, you know. It says 300 volt Cat 3, 600 volt Cat 2, and it's true RMS. Don't know what true RMS is. In terms of like how compact it is, I like it. Now, can I put it back is the question. So do you have to slide it through here? That's a bit of a quality of life thing, I guess. I see what they mean now in terms of making it maybe a little bit easier to store away, because you potentially have to do this every single time. Did that go? I can't remember. Did that go the? I could just do that, I guess, and not have it in a holder. Again, we've got 3D printed plastic here. How does it go like this? Yeah, just slots back in there. It fits nice and snug as well. But can I just put this through the back like that, and then push it down? Pull it down? No. So if you take it out, put both of those like that. Does that work? That'll probably work, right? Yeah, and then you shove everything in the back like that. This feels a little bit wobbly, is what I will say. Not that it's not a horrendously bad thing. What's this? Oh, that's where the other one of those little things were. So we got this, right? It's magnetic for some reason, right? I don't know what this one is for. Again, I'll have to look at the manual for that. Oh, these things sit in here. Okay, so I found the home for these. And then our multimeter literally clips on here. Yeah, look. Nice. And then let me bend this over again. Our little flux syringe as well. Tweezers. Everybody's best friend. Tweezers. They haven't got any ceramic tweezers, but they got these. Very cheap, as you can tell. They're very cheap. I don't know what else to say about those. They're just cheap. Oh my gosh, you've got different oh, wait a minute. Look at this. I didn't know that. I didn't know they give you different tips. Again, in the deluxe version. I don't know what. I don't want to confirm what you get with what, because again, I'm not too sure. You know, and I don't know if they've like finalized those sorts of details yet. But again, you get tweezers, which are usable, but they're not great. You know, they're definitely low budget, low end sort of tweezers, and they feel quite bendy. You know, not very strong. And then you call that a knife? We got a nice knife here. Sweet little pen knife, man. I've not had a pen knife in years. I like that. That blade does feel loose. I don't know if it's meant to. I don't know if you can probably see it wiggling there, but GG, Joey, be very, very careful. And look at this. So the 3D holder printer thing for the soldering iron tips. That's pretty cool. How do you take it out? You've got to be careful or not, because I don't want to ruin these. It's definitely... Oh, I take it out this way. I see. So you do it this way. Cool. Same with this one. Same with this one. Oh, the knife slot's in there, so it's got its own little place. Then you've got the tweezer location as well, and obviously you've got the other bits as well. Okay, here we go. We got our tips. I'll have a look at the soldering iron as well whilst we're here, but let me just have a look at these quick. So, I don't know what kind of tips they're going to be. You'll be able to see the writing just here. So they're like almost cartridges, right? Very, very fine tip there. Wow, look at that. This looks like it's been it's welded, I guess, right? But you've got a very fine tip. What else have you got? People love this tip, the knife tip, guys. I've personally never used a knife tip, you know. I don't even know if I got one. I don't. I hear nothing but good things about them. They transfer a lot of heat and stuff. But yeah, you've got a knife tip, which is a really nice touch as well. A knife touch. And then you've also got this J-tip as well. Again, just the welding there. I don't know how that's going to transfer heat very well in the cartridge if it's been welded. But did I say welding? And then we've got another small tip. Wait, what's the difference between that one and that one? There isn't. So they just give you an extra one, perhaps? Maybe they may just give you an extra tip. Is it the exact same writing? Yeah, 252705. Yeah, so these are they're just like maybe spares, I guess. So this is our holder. Again, you can see 3D printed. Tiny, tiny screws in this as well to keep it kind of together. Oh, and that goes up like that. So our holder's magnetic. I'm just trying to work out how it holds. And can I keep that on? Oh, that doesn't come off. Does it? No, that bit doesn't come off. Does this screw off? Oh, this screws off. I don't know if it's advisable to use it with this screwed in because it's plastic so close to the tip, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that the tip only gets hot down here rather than the actual shaft, should we say. Anyway, shaft is a very strange word there, right? Magnetic. Does it go this way? Oh, it goes in this section, that's why. So is that like some holder? Oh, wait, that's really cool. Wait. We have found out. We have... like that. Yo, that's actually really cool. You got a little stand there. Look at that. It's magnetic. So you just crack on. I mean, it does interfere. It definitely interferes. Definitely interferes with the way that you hold your soldering iron. Again, hobbyists, right? But this definitely interferes. So what's nice? Yeah, you can take that off. But then what? You're meant to screw it in whilst it's really, really hot. I don't know about that one. I like it, but it's just the magnet obviously has to be strong because it has to hold it, right? Like this. In terms of it being comfortable, it just feels kind of weird and bulky with this. Without having this bit on, it's nice. as you can imagine, because we've got this little thing here, this little bit of padding. That's really, really nice to hold. It's like a pen. But with this on, it gets a little bit awkward. Yeah, I was thinking that it might melt because of how close it is, but I don't know how much this is going to generate. Anyway, so that's nifty, right? That is nifty, though, how you've got the holder. That's cool. That's convenient. Just there. So you're using it. And then we've got, I'll go through, again, some of the specs of this in a second. We've got a USB-C input up here, so it's going to give it power. And then we've got like a dial here. It feels like a little bit cheapy, plastic. I'm going to expect it for a certain price point, right? For this whole thing to be 200, I'm going to expect a budget soldering iron. Aphen A11, really, really cool. Okay, I've never heard of Aphen. We've got a knife tip in here, which is also what we've got as a spare. So you get two spare knife. You get a knife tip and a spare, and you get the really thin one and a spare. And then you get the J tip, which is separate on its own. So that's pretty cool, though. Oh, wait a minute. Does that? Oh, so that like slides. And here we've got a brush. This is a brush for the iron. I'm assuming that's like copper, right? That's pretty cool. I wonder if that like sprays solder everywhere though. Okay, interesting. Again, it's also a little bit loose and stuff as well. Production kit, I understand completely. Here we go, let's put it there. Just like if it gets knocked or something, you know, if I'm being like clumsy. Just these sort of like tests. There's screws here, so I can make this tighter or looser, which obviously that would make it tighter. But I love how that is so compact. That is really cool. Fits in nicely. All right, I'm sure I saw something like a. Where's this screwdriver thing? Because they've got screwdrivers here. This whole base is magnetic, by the way. That's cool. And there's a reason for that, I'm pretty sure. So wait a minute, I'm going to take out because there's screwdriver bits here. Now, where does that plug into? I'm sure there's meant to be somewhere this plugs into. Oh wait, unless it's the thing that it comes in. Yo, yeah, that's really cool. I love that concept. I love that. It's so simple, but it makes sense, you know. So you've got two different types of Phillips. You've got a pH2 and you've got a pH1. An S. That one feels a little bit loose. Is that going the other way? No. Something is meant to go in there by the looks of it. There is a hole, but I don't know for what. This one feels a little bit loose, so that could be a little bit better. This one's nice and snug. Still a little bit wobbly, yeah, with excessive force, I guess. But this one is, it falls out quite easily. But I mean, if you was holding it like that, you wouldn't really need it to. But I mean, if you're twisting it, eventually it will. So you might have to like hold it and do that. But nifty. There was something I was going to use the screwdriver for, but I can't remember. I like the modularity. Don't know if that's a word. I'm going to say it is. The modularity of this is really nice. Being able to just like, if I want to put this here, I can. Nice. Or if I want to, you know, put this long thing down here, I can do that. Or I want to put it, I can't put it down there, unfortunately, but I can put it there. I can put it next to the multi. I can put it up here. Like I can put the flux syringe up here. So you can have it how you want it. It doesn't have to go like this. I'm pretty sure the stuff at the bottom maybe needs to stay there. Let me see if the little magnets, which we're going to take a look at in a second. I mean, they hold nicely here, but I think their home is here, right? Anyway, the soldering iron itself, I will give some heat and stuff in a second. We're actually going to test that on a board and see how good it actually is. But you've got the little solder reel here, guys. Let's not overlook this. This looks really cool. Yeah, it is mostly 3D printed. You're right. I don't know if there's changes that are going to be made to that. I don't know if this is leaded. I think it's unleaded, actually. Can I? Oh, that's so you can take this out of the spool, and I'm pretty sure you do that by using a screwdriver or something in here. But where's that bit of solder gone? I think this is unleaded, FYI. I think this is unleaded. So that's cool. You've got that there. You've also got the wick here. So what you can do, if you want to keep this super portable, is I can take my wick. I wonder what size wick it takes. And what size is this? This is super wick 2.5 mil. And 2.5 mil fits on the spool perfectly. So this will probably take what? I want to say 3, maybe 3.5 mil is what this spool will take. But that's really cool. So I can literally just chop that and put it on here if I was like traveling on an aeroplane or something. You know what I mean? I don't think soldering on an aeroplane would be best practice, but that's really cool. And let's see if I can pull that without moving it. I can't. So let me put it in its original place. Can I pull this without it moving? I can. Very good. And what they've done as well is they put little ridges on the wheels, so you get a nice good grip when you go to put it back. And what about here? That's really cool. I really like this. This aspect specifically, I like that. And when you roll it, the solder goes back. Not as in, yeah, obviously, Joey, it goes back. But I mean, like, it goes back nicely. This is one thing I really wanted to take a look at, okay? This is a fan slash light. What do I mean? So they've got like a magnetic base on the fan here that you can turn around, and I can assume attach. That is a little bit flimsy, but I guess maybe it comes off for a certain reason. I don't know. There's like 3D printing people out there might be able to tell me exactly what the situation is here and what's going on. But I mean, it clips on. As long as it holds, I don't see that being a massive issue. I mean, it should be a little bit better quality. Over time, I think that will wear. But again, this is I'm pretty sure pre-production. Unsure, don't want to confirm. But maybe that will get a little bit better. And at the top, is it at the top or the side? No, it's at the side. So I'm going to use my power bank here. So let's put the power bank on. And let's use our USB-C spool, which came with it. So I plug one end in here and one end in here. Okay, is this going to work now? Do I get a little light? Do I hold it down? This is the worst light I've seen since 1976. I don't know if something's wrong with it or what the situation is. Let me turn off these. This is on. Ready? It's on. It's off. It's on. It's off. I don't know if something's wrong with it or whether it needs a charge or something. I mean, we've got a little red LED here to indicate that it's getting power. Does the fan work? Let me hold it down. The fan's on. The fan's working. And it's quite powerful. It's quite powerful. I like it. The fan aspect is good. Let me check the light again. Maybe it's maybe it needed a couple of I don't know. Let me try the light on again. Whoa! All right. Jeez Louise. Lord glove. I'm blind. Why did I feel that so close to my face? That is definitely more like it though. Let me try that now. That's the fan. It's just a one click as well. There we go. That's really cool. So if you're in a dark spot as well, you've got a light, man. Look at that. And you can angle it. So you can put it up a little bit or put it down a little bit. I feel like the main crux of the light hits here, but we don't really get much here. If I angle it, we still... I guess that's enough, to be honest. I guess that is enough. I can't be too picky there. If you were to price this, instead of having a multimeter... My multimeter straight off the bat is £120, but it plugs into the PC. It does all sorts of bits and bobs. But you got the multimeter £120. My soldering iron is £500. My hot air station is £150. I've got another soldering station that's like £800. Yeah, you got the solder, you've got the braid, you've got the light, the fume extractor. My fume extractor specifically was £300. So it depends. But that's a lot better than what it was. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it just had to draw a little bit more power from the power supply. So the fan is going. You can't see it because of how we've got everything, but the fan's on, the light's on. It would be good if they had like light levels so you could save some battery. So if you had like level 1, level 2, level 3, you see this? That's a concern that I'd have. Is this getting flimsy already? You know what I said about it getting flimsy over time? Well, straight away, I think they just need to maybe have a little bit of a better solution for holding that. But again, early production problems and whatnot. So how much are we drawing? Ready? There we go. So we can see now exactly how much this is drawing from the power bank. This is directly from the power bank. So the power bank is on. We are drawing 600 milliamps with nothing on, by the way, which is interesting. We are drawing 600 milliamps with nothing on. So this is going to be depleting when it's plugged in and there's nothing powering it. Let's see if that changes. Ready? So let's turn the light on. Did that go to 560 to 580? No. It went up like 1 or 2 milliamps, right? So this is just constantly drawing power. Is that right? Is there a battery in here? That's a really good point. I don't think there is. So if I take that out now and if I press it, oh, there is. Great spot. Great spot, guys. This has its own battery. That's why it's drawing so much. So we get 570 milliamp draw. So that is charging the battery in here. Does it say what size the battery is? Fan plus light. Here we go. LED light provides 1000 lux illumination. USB-C rechargeable, 3 hours worth of runtime, supposedly. Is that like what's it's on? Runtime would be on, right? And you have a replaceable carbon filter for fume extraction. So the filter at the front, does that come off then? Yeah, this will go, so you just pull this out. Nice. Okay. And you can just refill that. Sweet. Has got some screws in as well. So you can take this apart if needed, if something went wrong. It's got the little fan signal there in the light, so you don't get confused as to which one you're pressing. That would explain why this wasn't working when I first tried to plug it in, because it was dead. So we're drawing 570 at 5 volts. What's that, like 2.5 watts? There's one more thing that I'm going to check before we have a look at the actual iron itself, and that is these little magnetic feet things. Look at that. So, did that go like that? Pretty strong magnets, hey? Pretty strong, as we can. Not like ridiculous, but pretty strong. Yeah, nice. These are for like just holding PCBs, I'm pretty sure. So the way that you work it is by literally just pressing down on it. So as an example, let me get a Nintendo Switch PCB and say I wanted to just quickly put that there like that. And then you've got this here, around there. And you've got this here, around there. And then this one for good measures, just here. Look at that, holding down that PCB. And if you want, you can just move it. That's pretty cool. Keeps everything nice and sturdy. What I like about this, by the way, they have little rubber bits so it doesn't damage the components on the PCB. You know, and it's a really simple design, right? It's just a screw in and then they put that plastic around. But it's simple yet complex and quite genius, you know? I would definitely avoid putting that on components still. This is probably the most bare bones look at a product I've ever seen, and I'm absolutely loving it. This isn't a paid promotion or anything. This is just me wanting to make a video because I wanted to. This to me is like you've got a bare bones soldering kit which you can buy on Amazon for £20, and that I've seen ones that will give you everything that it has here. But if you're somebody who has a little bit of extra cash, I need to test how the soldering iron is, and you want a portable solution, and I want to confirm you don't have anywhere to do this that isn't a massive desk like I have, and you want to be able to put this on your kitchen side. This is really cool to just whip out. I just need to solder a couple of wires. Yeah, let me get these done, blah, blah, blah. Stick this on like that. Give me my soldering iron and off we go. We're off to the races and just crack on. If I was to sum it up so far, I'd say a kitchen table soldering kit. That's what I'd say. Let's test this iron and see how we get on. So what are we reading? 10 milliamps. 3. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is going on here? I did see magic smoke, but I don't know what the magic smoke was from. I don't know if it was from the tip. I think it was from the tip. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's solder. I think it's where it's just heating up. Here we go. 200, 350, 375. We're at 375. It says 83%, 60%, 1%, 0%. What? So what's going here? What's going on here? I wonder what happens if I put it onto ground. Does it suck up? Does it suck the heat? Power delivery, keeping it at the right temp. Gotcha. So it's going to fluctuate, right? Temp. So you just literally slide it over up to 450, by the way. And look how, supposedly, look how quick that jumps up. Let's go down. What's the minimum? 100. I don't know why you'd ever want 100. Ever. Put it down to 2. It's quite, feels quite good. Put it back. Yeah, does this have a battery as well? It has to be plugged in. I'm going to assume it has to be plugged in. So it's 12 volt. It's called an AFN A11, by the way. It's just turned off. Okay. And it's not melting that plastic, is it? No. So at 450 degrees right now. Do I just, if I press it, it turns it off, right? And there we go. We got the 12 volts, 0. And then turn it on. Nice and simple. Okay, stick it in there. Under the scope we go. Wow. It's kind of clean. Well, I say clean, not as in clean clean. Don't know what this residue is. So I'm going to take this off now again. And it's still at 450, so it hasn't turned off just yet. I'm just going to use the knife tip here. I've got to be honest. This is really nice. Because this is a really small tip as well. It's dropping to 400. So it's definitely like taking some power to utilize. 400, 410. But that's done a really good job at soldering. I know it sounds stupid. Guys, I think this is unleaded solder as well, by the way. I'm pretty sure this is like unleaded. Now, I'm going to say this again. Guys, this is mostly for people who are like hobbyists, I think. Soldering very basic things. And if that is the case, it's incredible. I can't lie to you. I really like the product. I would never do this, not even with my normal iron, by the way. But I'm just showing like how good this is. Like this solder is going somewhere and it's on the board. There's a little bit on the iron, but nowhere near as much as what I just put in. I can't lie, it's really nice. Let me just get the wick. So let's test the wick that it comes with. So here we go. I'm not using any flux, I'm just going to say. The wick that it comes with. The wick is not good. Can you, like, this is without flux, but let me show you something. So like it's sticking, it's horrible. And it's not doing its job. Where's my wick? Let me see how much of a difference it makes. Without flux, FYI. I wonder if my wick makes a difference. This is my super wick. The stuff that I use. I mean, guys, look, if that doesn't prove to you that wick is important, without flux, FYI, then I don't know what is a better representation of how much that just like soaks it up without any flux compared to the other wick. Look at that. So again, this is solder without flux, okay? We have to really bear this in mind. The soldering iron's great, by the way. I can't lie to you. This is a Nintendo switchboard, which is, again, it would be deemed, obviously, a console and not something like soldering some wires for an amateur or beginner or a hobbyist. This is a Nintendo switchboard. The soldering iron gets a massive pass from me. This is incredible. Again, this is the wick that comes with the kit. Look at that. Nothing. It's too thick or something. I don't know. It's just not even taking it up. Let me use my wick. Flush cutters. New piece. My wick. Wow. What on earth? I didn't even know wick makes that much of a difference. I genuinely did. And that's without any flux. That is just using separate wicks. Wow. I am shocked, by the way. This is a great advertisement for Super Wick. I can confirm that. Is it a huge roller wick? Yeah, but mine's also a huge roller wick. This is the one that I'm using. I'm using it in the holder. Theirs is definitely shorter. I'll try it with flux. Should we try it with flux? Give it benefit of the doubt. Soldering iron, fantastic. Really, really good. I'm actually really surprised at how well that's done. See what happens with flux. I should have used the flux that was included in theirs. Let's see. Eventually, and sticking. But it does the job, so you will have to use quite a bit of flux on here, but this wick doesn't wick up nice. Like, it's not a nice wick, in my opinion. Oh, that could have been something they included as well, right? A little tube of IPA. A little tub, not a tub, but like a little tube of IPA. That'd be good. Because that's quite high on the list of things needed when soldering. Super, super clear flux. Lord glove. Right, see what happens. Using their solder 450. What? We're worse off. We're worse off. Let me try and put it directly on the pad, even though I wasn't doing that before. What? Oh, there we go, eventually. That was a struggle. Whoa! Whoa! Okay, I've just had to disconnect it because a magnet came out, which is now burnt because it was attached to the iron, like that. Ask me how that happened. The holder. Let me show you what happened. I had it here. I had the holder. Had it plugged in. There is a magnet that goes down there. Let me push it back in. So I've just pushed the magnet back in to where you've got the holder, which screws on, by the way. Oh, wait. So that's the magnetic holder bit. But where's the screw bit gone for this? Is it still on the end? Wait, what's going on? Oh, yeah, look. It was, I think it was going really, really well. Where does that... Oh, I think it clips in. There we go. So that clips in there. It just clips in. And then that screws into here, like this. And that's where the holder goes. I pulled this off. And there was a magnet on the end. And this had come off somehow. I don't know how that's come off. Ah, there we go. Like that. So it was like that. The magnet came out of here and attached itself to the actual iron tip itself. That clips on like that. So that is it clipped, and then that is where you're meant to unscrew. But for some reason, that unclips. That's cool. I like the cartridge swap. That's pretty cool. Again, it's not hot at the moment, but as you can see, it's broken again. So the holder is broken because I can now unscrew this, look, and that should be attached onto here. And it's because, I think it's just because it's 3D printed. Guys, again, this is not the final product. I have to stress it. This is not the final product. I have to give them the benefit of the doubt with that. But the concept for this, I think, needs changing. I love the fact that you're able to put it in a holder. That is awesome. And the actual holder itself, it's really, really cool. Could just be worth having that a little bit more robust, as well as the fact you can't have this coming off with a pull. Because, again, I'd just done that completely by accident. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it happened. But, yeah, I pulled that off. And then a magnet got stuck on there. I panicked. But what I will say is that this soldering iron, this Afen A11 is fantastic. It's really, really powerful. Was the heat maybe? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Breaky. Yeah, something like that. But now, for example, I'll show you. Look. I'll take that out and I'll use directly from the pack, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen with whatever USB-C solution you're using. I don't know if the wire is too heavy. Maybe the wire is too heavy, but I mean, the wire isn't necessarily too heavy. It could be that the wire was a bit heavy, but that is very like, if I just tap this, you can see with the strength that I'm using. Yeah, it might be because of the heat. When it's hotter, it's obviously the magnet, and now it's doing it with even this. Oh no, it's okay now. But I mean, that is very, very loose. So the holder isn't very holder-ish, you know? And I think it's because of the heat. I think it's because obviously we've had the iron on for a while now. One thing I was going to show you, right, is this. So this is what the solution that they give as like a wire brush for the solder. I'm actually going to go under the scope for this. I think this needs changing as well for like, if they were to replace this with like a, what do you call it? A little ball. What I will say is there's like remnants of like soldering bits all over my mat. And the reason for that is because when you use this, it does spray everywhere. Even if you try and like just dab in here, if I get a little bit of solder, I'm going to try and capture this on camera, but I'm not too sure I'm going to be able to. So I just put some solder here, and yeah, I then go to scrape it off. So right there, it went onto my arm. It went onto my arm, but you can see it like flinging off. That was more of a like a stroking, but if I put a big dab on, and even if I was to do that, it's not really done it at this point, but there is little bits of solder that's like flies off. You know, that's what I'd say. It kind of just like flies off, which isn't ideal. I'd definitely suggest more of like a ball for this, rather than this. Now the solution is like what I've got for my Hako. Imagine this just on like a smaller scale where you've got a little compartment and you can just dump it in. And I think that's why this sort of this product exists the way it does in the ball. So when you're doing that, the solder can't fling around everywhere. You can see the amount of times that you just like miss the thingy. But I think it's so the solder doesn't fling everywhere and it's in this like dome shape. You know what I mean? I see what they try to do, especially for like saving space, but it just flings it everywhere. This is, again, I'm going to say it for like the 4th time here. This is a pre-production unit. They're still making changes to the final iteration of this. Who do I think this is for? I think this will be eventually when it's fully ready, and I would love to get my hands on maybe another kit after like the first release. But I would say this is definitely for a hobbyist enthusiast who is dabbling with something like, I'll give you an example, a Nintendo DS Lites. When I was working on Nintendo DS Lites, when I first started the channel, that's when I bought my first soldering iron kit off Amazon. Now, granted, that was £20. This is 10x that. So I have to also bear that in mind. The quality of the stuff that I had was not as good as this. The soldering iron was horrendous. It had a dial. It broke all the time. It was awful. The tip was horrendous. This soldering iron is very, very good. I like this soldering iron. I like the amount of tips that it comes with. The multimeter seems to be a-okay. I've not, used it too much. I like the fan with the light. That's really important for me. And I say that a lot, health is wealth. I feel like it's really important to, it doesn't do the best of jobs. It just kind of filters the fumes that you get from the flux, etc. And it just kind of makes them a little bit cleaner rather than completely gets rid of them. If you want something that's going to really sort you out, you're spending £300 on a proper fume extractor. So for this specific kit, there's so many positives to it. I feel like a lot of it being 3D printed is probably one of the biggest negatives. Or I don't know much about 3D printing myself, so it could be in the quality of the 3D print. Maybe they're not using a good quality of 3D printer. I personally don't know. I have no idea. But it just seems like some of the bits for this are a little bit soft. And the issue being is that when you have things that are soft with 3D printing and you introduce heat, it's obviously not going to go very well. But I love the functionality aspect of having a stand for your soldering iron. Like the functionality and the idea of it is amazing. It just needs, in my opinion, quality of life updates. That's what it needs. It needs QOL updates where things are a little bit more rigid. This, I think, needs to be changed into like some have like some enclosure, so at least it's not spitting everywhere. The magnet, like having this magnetized, the helping hands is absolutely awesome. The wick is rubbish in my opinion. The solder seems to be fine, and I haven't used this in a broad range of experiments, guys. We also have to remember that. I've done a little bit of soldering on a Nintendo Switch board. Yeah, I'd say the solder itself seems to be absolutely fine. The flux syringe may be a little bit overkill if you've already got a flux syringe, and you should just be able to like maybe come up with a holder for this and include that rather than having this. But yeah, as an all-in-one solution, I really, really like it. Would I advise somebody to spend their money on this? Not as it currently stands, but with those quality of life changes, and if it was more robust, absolutely. I'd have no problem with saying to somebody, if you're a starter and a hobbyist enthusiast and you have the money for it and you're willing to spend around about that £200 mark, and you don't have the space for a complete setup and all of those things, this is a good option. Would I suggest it for console repairs? I'd probably say no at this moment in time. I'm talking maybe like bigger boards, for example. I do genuinely think that iron will be okay, and maybe that's a test that I can do in the future, is testing this on like something that's maybe like a Series X. Can you imagine that? See how this works. But I think for the sake of somebody who's getting serious about console repairs and you're moving into more of like an intermediate level, I don't think this is the thing. Beginner, tinkerer has more of a budget than, you know, other people that are coming in with a price point of say £50. I'd say this is like a replacement of that kit, if not that next step up, if it makes sense. I love the idea. I love the portability. Yeah, it needs work on a few areas for sure. And I feel like the more you use it, probably the worse that things are going to get because of the way that they're 3D printed and the way that heat interferes. Listen, I appreciate Solder for sending me out the unit. This was not, again, a paid review in any way, shape or form. There was commission mentioned, but I said no, just because I wanted this to be as authentic as it possibly could. And I think we've done a good job of that.